Hi, welcome to WiseCat. Okay, in today's video, basically, we're just going to have a short one, and we're going to look at the feedback module, and this is in response to a question by a good friend of mine, initials AB, and AB asked, how can I get a set of checkboxes and just get student feedback from that without actually assigning a grade or something like that? So, okay, we have to do this in core Moodle, so we're not allowed to use, say, the questionnaire mod or something. So let's have a look at how we might do that using core Moodle. Nothing but. All right, straight out of the box. So behind me, we can see that we've got here a test Moodle. It is a core Moodle, and it is brand spanking new. Look how new it is. That's even got the tours are still popping up like this. So expand to explore, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, I know about that. So let's go to the courses page and let's make ourselves a new course. Okay, so fresh Moodle, freshly minted, out of the box, and AB is actually talking about using this for pronunciation. So I'll just make a course called Pronunciation 101. Okay. And I'm going to add that as the short course name as well. AB, I don't think you're going to be doing that particular part. You're starting out from this. Okay, fine, skip tour. You're going to start with your course page actually there. Now this is a brand spanking new Moodle, therefore it's actually Moodle 4.4, but the feedback module that I'm about to introduce to you has been in Moodle Core for ages. So it should definitely be there. Okay, so we're going to switch our edit mode on. We're going to create ourselves a little feedback activity. Let's do it here, right here. Here we go. So we come in here and we want to look for this one, the feedback module. And the feedback module doesn't actually give grades to students, but it just helps creating a custom survey or questionnaire, and you have multiple choice, yes, no, text input, whatever. You can have as many questions as you want. So this is the one that we're going to use. Right, so feedback module, it's got that sort of bullhorn sort of an icon to it, and we're going to click add. We come in here and we're going to ask the question, right? So we're going to say this is difficult phonemes, and we're going to ask in the question here, well, I'm not going to give it a description, I'm just going to leave that open there. Now, availability, you can choose when it starts and finishes, when you're accepting questions from. And here's an interesting one about the feedback module, is that you can actually have it be anonymous. Now, as I understand, you can not actually prevent multiple submissions for participants if you keep it anonymous. Because there's no way of saying, hey, did you post a response before? Yes or no? Well, how do I know? Because you're anonymous. But for non-anonymous surveys, you can also limit them to one submission each. You can choose whether you, as a teacher, get notified when a student submits something, and also auto-numbering of questions and stuff like that. And there are some other things as well. For example, if you're doing this as a survey, you can send a little thank you message and say, okay, after submission, and if you are interested in getting the results, maybe send me an email here or something like that. This sort of thing might be typical as well. If you are using this for research, it's actually fairly common to put your informed consent sort of stuff as well in the description here, so that right before the questions start, students know, oh, okay, I have the right to back out anytime, etc., etc. Anyway, let's assume that we want to actually know who's saying what, so we'll log the user's name and have that shown with the answers, etc., like that when you're doing it. After submission, will you let the students see the analysis? Yes or no? I'm going to say no. And let's say common module settings. We're going to come in here, and first of all, I'm going to hide it. And the reason I'm going to hide it first is because while I'm working on the questions, I don't want any students to access it and start answering questions when the survey's half done. So I'm going to hide it first while I'm working on it. And then when everything's all ready, I've got all my ducks in a row, I'm going to let the students access it. Okay, so I'm going to save and display that. And here I have it, difficult phonemes, the feedback module. And now it's created, but there are no questions. So even if I went to answer the questions, there are no questions, or preview questions, there are no questions. What questions? Let's try it. Haha, see? Nothing. It's empty. But what we can do then is edit the questions. And so we're going to add a question here. Now, this is a little bit weird because here, if you look at the add question drop down, it actually asks you for if you want to, say, import questions from a file or use a template. Now, we're making it from scratch, so what we want is actually this second drop-down, and admittedly, this part of the interface is a little bit clunky, but the choose drop-down is what we want. And in our case, we wanted multiple choices, and we want students to be able to click on multiple boxes. So we're going to definitely want multiple choice here. Let's create this one. Right. So now we can give our question a text, and we'll say what vowels, sounds are most difficult for you, for example. And I'm just going to paste in a little bit of the list because I've only made a couple. Label here, we might say vowels. This label actually mainly helps when afterwards, if you download the results in an Excel file or something like that, and then you want to have the questions labeled with a simple little label so that you know which question it's referring to, each line in the Excel file, for example. All right, I'm going to make this question required. Students must answer it if they want to submit the questionnaire properly. And here under multiple choice type, at the moment the default is multiple choice single answer, but we don't want that. We want multiple answers, right? You can also format it as a drop-down menu. By default, it's radio button list, and if you choose multiple answers, that's checkboxes, and that's what we want. Right, we want them to be vertically oriented, a horizontal list or vertical list. How do you want it? I'm going to go with vertical this time. Omits empty submits on analysis. Sure, don't want anyone that's empty because, well, it doesn't really matter in this case because I've set it to required, but whether you actually, if you're going to analyze this data more strongly later, you can actually choose to omit empty results or count them as, say, null answers. And so depending on what your purposes is, that might be useful. Anyway, in here, this is where we put the multiple choice values, and it is simple as copy and paste, in my case anyway, because here we go. I've got at as in cat, as in up, and a as in say. Right, so I've only got the 3 options. You can have as many as you like. The thing is that for the options, you should have 1 per line. So this is no good, this is great. Right, so you have 1 per line, so that you can actually, and you can have as many options as you like. Save changes, and you're done. And that's it. At as in cat, or a as in say, those two are giving me trouble, but as in up, I've mastered that one. Alright, so you can do that like so. Alright, and that's created. Again, there is one last thing that we're going to have to do, is go back to our course and actually, or the settings, and make this visible for students. But before we do that, actually, let's go back to the feedback page here, and let's actually, so that was the preview pages, preview questions there. We got a little preview, but now we can actually answer the questions and even test it all the way and see if we can submit. Right, so, okay, I'm having trouble with at as in cat and a as in say. I'm going to submit my answers. Bang. This is how it appears to the students. And in there, okay, it's now gone back here, but yeah, submitted answers 1, and now if we look at the responses, you can see that admin user has made 1 response. Yeah, admin user, great name. Sorry. And this was the response that I actually gave. You can also see the analysis page where it gives you a nice pretty graph, and if you have multiple students, it'll be like how many people answered this and that and the other. So you can actually do that and see the chart data as well. Okay, so that's how you can get it. Oh, and by the way, there's your export to Excel button. And no, if I grab that, let me see. Okay, let's have a quick look. While I'm here, all right, bonus, I wasn't going to open it up in, say, Excel or something. LibreOffice will do. This is how it comes up when you have it listed here. So you can see here's the label vowels here, the question that is asked, and the responses, the list of responses that we've got here. We've got just the one here, 0 here, and this bottom line, this last line is the totals. So if you had 50 students or so, you could actually get the basic overview of what each of these numbers are. How many submitted, how many questions, blah, 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 this sort of stuff. So the last thing that we do need to do is once we do this, we go back to our Pronunciation 101, our course page, and there it is. It's ready to go. We've set up the questions, we've tested it, we've made sure that it all works, and now we can go in here and go hidden from students, and we'll say show on course page, and now the students can take it. Right? I can close my edit mode off. That's what it looks like. Actually, I probably should have zoomed in, but anyway, there it is. They can. They won't see the edit questions button, of course, but what they will see is, the ability, the buttons for answer the questions if they have not answered it yet. If I go to responses actually and delete my response here, you can see pretty much this is how it's going to look like for students, but without the edit questions or preview questions. We got the answer the questions button will appear for students. They click, they answer, they save. That's it. Right? So it couldn't be simpler. All right. I hope this is informative or useful or entertaining or something like that, especially the comment about ducks in a row. Love a few ducks. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had Ducky's win tip of the day and stuff like that. I'll have to bring him back again. All right, if you want to see more of me or the duck, please like and subscribe and do those sorts of things so that you can get notifications when the next one comes up. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.